The best bets say that Qadaffi is still in Tripoli, somewhere in the 20 miles of underground tunnels built under his bunker. The rebels still have to fight a battle in Sirte against Qadaffi royalists. We think, and I think, that it's best that NATO exceed its mandate that it's never actually been following anyway, just to protect civilians. Liam Fox, the defense minister of the UK, has already come out to tell us that the rebels have been getting intelligence and technology from NATO forces in order to carry out the search for Qadaffi. Wouldn't it be better if we just let the NATO forces who are already there do what they can do best with their own intelligence and technology, and not hamper the rebel forces from finishing the war in Libya as early as they can? No one is sure what kind of resistance they will face in Sirte, how long it will go on. They need everyone that they can get in there. On another point, too, we don't think that it's right, since it's most likely that after Qadaffi is caught, that he will be shipped off to the ICC, that rebels continue to risk their lives to find Qadaffi, since they aren't going to be the ones in Libya actually to finish prosecuting him. We think that it's immoral for NATO to not be trying to capture Qadaffi, protecting civilians, when actually what they're doing is putting at risk the lives of the rebels who have already fought to capture Tripoli in order to find someone that only they are going to be able to prosecute.
Okay, so NATO might be better militarily equipped than the Libyan rebels, but any victory in the hands of NATO will be just a NATO victory. It won't be a Libyan victory, which is what is really important in this case, because the end goal in this effort is supposed to be that Libya will be a better country, and Libya will have better leadership in the end. So what this will do will just make it Libya in the hands of another Western-controlled power, or another NATO. And this point that you bring up about, well, it's not fair that they don't get to find Qadaffi, or NATO doesn't get to find Qadaffi, because they're just going to take him to the ICC. I think that's actually a really good point for the Libyans, because they're not going to actually get to take him to trial. They should at least get the right to bring him in, right? To have some kind of power in this system. And it's also really short-sighted to say that, well, we don't want rebels dying because we don't want people dying. Yeah, a few rebels might die, but in the end, if that makes it for a better Libya and more Libyans in control of Libya, we're okay with that. Yeah, they might die, but that's something. If it leads to something better, that's okay. Yeah. We've seen what happens when a country gets. Yeah. So let's see.
Well, Alcanza can be very cavalier about a few rebels dying, but I don't think that's something that we can play around with. If what's really at stake here is the future leadership of the rebels in this country, we've seen in Egypt that getting obsessed with trying the autocrat can actually be detrimental, that the military tribunal can prolong the process of having parliamentary elections by saying, we need to have this trial. We think that in order to actually have a functioning leadership, that the new rebels need to forget about Qadaffi and move on with doing the business that they need to be doing, getting the oil infrastructure back up and running, paying out all of the income that has been paid out by the Qadaffi regime during the war. We think that Qadaffi is going to be a distraction, even if it be an important symbolic victory. We think they can still have the symbolic victory if NATO catches him and tries him elsewhere. Libyans read the news too, and they can follow the proceedings. They don't have a legal system to speak of, because under the 40-plus years of Qadaffi's regime, there was not really a functioning legal system. So they're expecting to have him tried in the ICC anyway upon capture, and the rebels have promised a fair trial, but they aren't capable of having one. So I think that if we're looking for leadership, we should look to NATO to capture him, and the rebels can continue the war and then assert their leadership by forgetting about prosecuting Qadaffi and getting on with the business of everyday life in Libya and in Tripoli.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting that NATO would, on one hand, say that these people are ready for democracy and ready for having leadership of their own country, and on the other hand, saying that they're incapable of getting the person who has been, persecuting them, and the person who has been the symbol of all the corruption in the country. You can't say that. You have to give away some of that power to the people who have been fighting for it, right? So, so the thing is that Tim is saying that we should forget about Qadaffi, and that Libyans should forget about Qadaffi. And the thing is, you cannot say that. You cannot say you have to forget about the symbol of all of the corruption, of the person who forced people to pay prices and bribes to get simple things like having a good court case or something like that. He's a symbol of so much harm that the Libyans need to see him tried, and the Libyans need to have a hand in it so that they feel that they have a control of their country and they're not also being controlled by NATO. Which is like, what's the difference between being controlled by Qadaffi when he has all the power versus being controlled by like a NATO when they have all the power? Which is in this case, that's what we're doing. We're like giving all the power to like an outside power. Yeah.